Have you ever asked yourself what your time is really worth? Imagine being on your deathbed, looking back at your life. What memories will bring you peace? And which ones will make you wish you had lived differently? Time is the one resource you can never reclaim. Every single day, you get 24 hours. No more, no less. And once it's gone for good. Yet, how often do we give away our time so easily, scrolling endlessly, comparing ourselves to others, worrying about things we cannot control? What if I told you that by simply shifting your focus inward, you could change the trajectory of your entire life? Today, we dive deep into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and uncover 6 powerful principles that will help you stop wasting time and start living with intention. Before we start, drop a comment below. I focus on myself and stop wasting my time. Let that be your first step toward real change. Part 1. Time is your most precious asset. Let me ask you this: when you reflect on your past, how many hours, how many days, were spent on things that brought no real value to your life? The truth is, every moment in life is precious. And unlike money, connections, or even health, time can never be earned back. Once it slips through your fingers, it's gone forever. We often act as if we're immortal, wasting hours like they're infinite. But we're not. Life is short, and the clock is always ticking. Every single decision you make about how to use your time affects everything: your health, your happiness, your relationships, your growth. Now ask yourself, are you living on your terms? Or are you stuck in a loop, constantly occupied with other people's drama, fixated on problems that don't belong to you? When your attention is consumed by the lives of others, by their opinions, their gossip, their expectations, you lose sight of your own. You miss the chance to nurture your mind, sharpen your skills, and invest in the only life you actually get to live, your own. Make no mistake, time is not just precious. It is the most priceless thing you own. Part 2. You can't control the world, only yourself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote is not just inspiring, it's a call to arms. It reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance. While we may not control what happens around us, we always have the power to control how we respond. So why waste energy on things that lie beyond your reach? Why invest emotion into situations you cannot alter? The more time you spend trying to change the external world, the less time you have to master your internal one. Your mind is the command center of your life. Every thought, every reaction, every belief, it all stems from within. And when you reclaim ownership of your inner world, something incredible happens. You stop being a passive observer and become an active creator of your destiny. Part 3. The subtle trap of comparison. Here's a hard truth: comparison is one of the greatest thieves of time, joy, and self-worth. Every day, we're assaulted by curated images of success, beauty, and perfection, carefully constructed on social media, designed not just to inspire, but to provoke envy. These endless comparisons distort our reality and distract us from our own progress. Marcus Aurelius once warned, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That single sentence carries immense power. Instead of measuring yourself by the standards of others, measure yourself by the standard of your own potential. Instead of debating what success looks like, live it in your own way. Every moment you spend comparing is a moment stolen from your personal evolution. When you're watching someone else's journey, you're neglecting your own path. And that is a cost far too high to bear. Part 4. Stop living for other people. When you compare, you're not just wasting time, you're giving away control of your life. Think about it: when you live according to what others deem successful, beautiful, or worthy, you stop living for yourself. You chase someone else's dream. You walk someone else's path. And here's the danger: you begin to value their approval more than your own authenticity. You become trapped in a life that isn't yours, but you don't have to stay there. The way out begins with turning your attention inward, by asking, who am I? What do I want? What matters to me? When you reconnect with your own desires, your own purpose, and your own standards, you free yourself. You stop surviving and start living. Part 5, Invest in your own development. Real success is not measured by wealth, fame, or praise. It's measured by growth. Investing in your own development means choosing progress over perfection. It means taking the time to learn, to reflect, to fail, and to rise stronger than before. This journey isn't glamorous. It's not filled with likes and followers. But it's filled with substance. It's waking up early to read a book instead of doom scrolling. It's choosing to meditate instead of arguing. It's prioritizing health over convenience, knowledge over entertainment, depth over noise. The only person you need to impress is yourself. And every small step you take in the direction of your true potential is a victory. Part 6, Self-awareness, the beginning of everything. Growth begins with one thing, self-awareness. If you don't know who you are, how can you grow into who you want to be? The Stoics believed deeply in knowing oneself. Epictetus famously said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Self-awareness isn't just introspection, it's a skill. One that allows you to recognize your habits, your reactions, your limitations, and your possibilities. It's about facing the truth of where you are right now, so you can make intentional choices about where you're going. Without it, all efforts are wasted. You'll set goals that don't matter. You'll chase things that don't fulfill you. You'll become someone you don't even recognize. But with it, you become unstoppable. Coming up next, once you gain clarity about who you are, the next logical step is to set goals that match your true nature. That's exactly what we'll talk about in the next section, how to build realistic, meaningful goals that align with your potential and guide your life in the direction you truly desire. Stay with me. Leave a comment if this message resonates with you. And don't forget to subscribe for the next part in this Stoic journey. Remember, you have the power to train your mind. Focus on yourself and reclaim your time, starting now. After learning why comparison steals our time and confidence, it's clear that the path to real success begins by focusing on our own unique journey, not someone else's. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. When she first entered the television industry in the 1980s, she wasn't a well-known name. In fact, far from being welcomed, Oprah faced constant rejections, criticism, and even contempt from others in the field. She wasn't seen as someone who fit the conventional mold for success in television. But rather than letting those judgments define her, she made a powerful decision, one that would change not only her life but also the entire industry. She chose not to compare herself with other hosts or try to imitate popular shows at the time. Instead, she turned inward, asking herself, what do I have to offer that no one else does? That shift made all the difference. Oprah honed in on her authenticity, embracing her own voice and values. She worked relentlessly on improving her communication skills and building meaningful connections with her audience, not through empty entertainment, but through honest, emotional conversations that brought real spiritual value. That commitment, that focus, turned the Oprah Winfrey Show into one of the most successful and influential talk shows in television history. She didn't win by being better than others, she won by being more herself. She didn't chase trends, she became a force of her own. Oprah's journey is living proof of the power of staying centered on your own growth rather than getting lost in someone else's shadow. So what does this mean for you? When you set goals, whether in your career, relationships, or personal development, don't fall into the trap of thinking success has to be dramatic or instant. Every small step forward is meaningful. Each tiny win, completing a task, learning something new, sticking to a habit for another day, becomes a building block for long-term confidence and motivation. With time, these small, steady victories compound into powerful progress. And with each one, You're proving something vital, not to the world, but to yourself. You are capable. You're capable of learning, evolving, and handling more than you once thought possible. This is where true self-confidence is born. It doesn't come from applause or external praise. It comes from within. From knowing deep down that you're showing up for yourself, again and again. And with that self-confidence comes something else, independence. You'll feel less need to compare, less hunger for validation. Because your sense of worth is no longer tied to how well you stack up against others. But here's the truth that many overlook: comparison doesn't just distract you. It can slowly drain you. The more you measure your worth against others, the more likely you are to feel unworthy. Feelings of inadequacy and insecurity creep in, not because you're not good enough, but because you've started looking outward instead of inward. Now think for a moment, how much of your day, just today, have you spent looking at what others are doing? How many minutes slipped away scrolling through someone else's success story or wishing your life looked different? These moments may seem small, but they add up. And the cost isn't just lost time, it's lost energy, lost focus, lost belief in your own potential. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote that the key to a meaningful life isn't found in chasing what others admire, it's in the cultivation of our own character. True fulfillment doesn't come from becoming someone else's idea of perfect. It comes from becoming yourself, fully and fearlessly. So stop wasting time watching the lives of others unfold. Start investing that time in the one thing you have complete control over, you. Principle 2, embracing progress over perfection. Let's talk about another trap that often delays our growth: the obsession with perfection. Have you ever caught yourself waiting for the perfect time to start something? Or maybe you've abandoned a goal because you didn't think you could do it perfectly? If so, you're not alone. This mindset is more common than we think, and more damaging than it seems. Stoic wisdom tells us that the key to inner peace and lasting success isn't perfection, it's progress. Marcus Aurelius and his fellow Stoic philosophers believed that life is not about reaching some flawless version of yourself. It's about becoming a little better every day, learning from failure, and continuing forward. Perfection is a fantasy, and worse, it's a burden. When you chase perfection, you create invisible pressure that paralyzes you. You start doubting your efforts, fearing mistakes, and second-guessing your every move. Instead of acting, you wait. Instead of learning, you hesitate. In trying to be perfect, you end up doing nothing. So how do we break free? The first step is recognizing and confronting negativity, both outside of us and inside. Maybe your workplace is filled with tension. Maybe you're surrounded by people who complain constantly or criticize without offering solutions. That external negativity is real, but you don't have to let it poison your mind. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone throws a passive-aggressive comment your way. Your heart beats faster. Your mind starts spinning. But what if, instead of reacting, you just stayed quiet? What if you centered yourself, took a breath, and let their words pass like a wave crashing harmlessly against a rock? That kind of silence isn't weakness, it's power. It's the kind of strength that Stoicism teaches us to cultivate, the strength to master our emotions, instead of being mastered by them. But it's not just the negativity from others we must watch out for. Some of the worst lies are the ones we tell ourselves: I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'll never succeed. These thoughts are like invisible chains that hold us back from even trying. If we want progress, we have to face these thoughts and replace them with truth. Instead of saying, I'll fail, try this, I can learn, I can improve. Instead of thinking, I'm not good at this, say, I'm growing. And growth takes time. This simple shift in language creates a shift in mindset. And that shift, it's the beginning of freedom. In the journey of embracing progress over perfection, we've learned the power of persistence, gratitude, and realistic goals. But there's one more crucial element we must not overlook: letting go of the past. To truly move forward, we have to stop looking back. How often do we carry the weight of old mistakes, regrets, or emotional wounds that no longer serve us? These burdens don't just sit silently in the background, they actively hold us back, cloud our thinking, and drain our energy. Progress demands that we release what no longer belongs to our present. That doesn't mean we pretend the past never happened. And it certainly doesn't mean we justify what hurt us. Rather, it's about freeing ourselves from the emotional chains of resentment and anger. Forgiveness, in this context, isn't for others, it's for ourselves. It's the act of saying, I will no longer let this pain define me. When you choose to let go, you open up space for new energy, new goals, and new growth. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying a backpack full of bricks. Letting go is like setting that backpack down. Suddenly, the climb feels lighter, possible. Another essential piece in sustaining progress is developing positive habits. These are the quiet but powerful routines that shape who we become. When you surround yourself with positive people, pursue meaningful activities, and regularly practice gratitude, even when life is hard, you're building a strong foundation that supports forward movement. A shining example of this is J.K. Rowling, the world-renowned author of the Harry Potter series. Before fame, she faced intense personal hardship. She was living in poverty, unemployed, and dealing with the heavy weight of rejection. Multiple publishers turned her down. It would have been easy to quit, to stop writing, to stop believing. But Rowling did the opposite. She built a habit of resilience. Day after day, she continued to write. She stayed true to her passion, even when the world told her it wouldn't work. More importantly, she maintained gratitude, even in her darkest moments. She chose to see what she had, rather than what she lacked. It was that combination of persistence and positivity that helped her overcome every obstacle, and eventually become one of the best-selling authors of all time. Her story is a powerful reminder that success doesn't come from chasing perfection, it comes from refusing to give up. And this brings us to one final but vital key to long-term progress: discipline and patience. Success doesn't come all at once. In fact, the road to growth is often uneven and unpredictable. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when nothing seems to move forward. But those who stay committed, who keep showing up, even on hard days, are the ones who make it to the end. Rather than aiming to be perfect, aim to be consistent. Set small, meaningful goals. Celebrate them. Appreciate every bit of forward motion, even if it's just one tiny step. Because in this journey, we don't need to be flawless, we just need to stay in motion. Day by day, habit by habit, win by win. So, as you continue down your path, remember this: progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. Focus on yourself. Build strong, uplifting habits. Be patient with your growth. And above all, stay disciplined with your time and attention, because time, once lost, can never be reclaimed. Principle 3, rejecting distractions. Now, as we move forward, let's explore one of the biggest threats to our personal progress: distraction. Think of time as the most valuable currency you own. Once you spend it, it's gone forever. So, how are you spending yours? Marcus Aurelius, with his timeless Stoic wisdom, might ask you, are you truly living with intention, or are you letting your moments slip away without meaning? The reality is, in today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. Our phones buzz, emails demand attention, social media tempts us with endless scrolling. It's easier than ever to waste hours without even realizing it. And the cost? It's not just wasted time, it's lost potential. When we let these distractions dictate how we use our time, we're silently saying that our goals, our growth, and even our peace of mind can wait. But they can't. Every moment wasted is a moment that could have been used to build something real, something yours. Marcus Aurelius taught that if we want to live purposefully, we must become guardians of our time. That means treating each hour like a sacred investment, and only spending it on what truly matters. Interestingly, when we begin to value our own time, something powerful happens. Others start valuing it too. Protecting your time is a subtle but powerful declaration of self-respect. It tells the world, I know my worth, and I choose not to waste it. But how do we actually start rejecting distractions? It begins with awareness. You can't fight what you don't recognize. So take a close look at your daily habits. How much time is lost to meaningless scrolling? How many hours are swallowed up by meetings that lead nowhere? These are the modern day time thieves, and they rob you not just of hours, but of focus, clarity, and peace. Next, create boundaries. Allocate fixed periods in your day for things like checking email or social media. Outside of those times, disconnect. This practice helps you stay in control. Instead of letting technology control you, think of time management not as filling every second with tasks, but as organizing your life around what matters most. If a project requires deep concentration, carve out a distraction-free window where you can immerse yourself fully. Your mind, like a muscle, works best when it can focus without interruption. Stoicism encourages us not only to value our results but to appreciate the process, even when progress feels slow. The act of working with purpose is time well spent. And just like building physical strength takes consistent training, building control over your time and attention also takes discipline. Start small. Build routines. Stick to them. The more you train your ability to focus, the stronger your mind becomes. You begin to reclaim your time, your energy, and ultimately, your life. Let's talk about another trap that often delays our growth: the obsession with perfection. Have you ever caught yourself waiting for the perfect time to start something? Or maybe you've abandoned a goal because you didn't think you could do it perfectly? If so, you're not alone. This mindset is more common than we think, and more damaging than it seems. Stoic wisdom tells us that the key to inner peace and lasting success isn't perfection, it's progress. Marcus Aurelius and his fellow Stoic philosophers believed that life is not about reaching some flawless version of yourself. It's about becoming a little better every day, learning from failure, and continuing forward. Perfection is a fantasy, and worse, it's a burden. When you chase perfection, you create invisible pressure that paralyzes you. You start doubting your efforts, fearing mistakes, and second-guessing your every move. Instead of acting, you wait. Instead of learning, you hesitate. In trying to be perfect, you end up doing nothing. So how do we break free? The first step is recognizing and confronting negativity, both outside of us and inside. Maybe your workplace is filled with tension. Maybe you're surrounded by people who complain constantly or criticize without offering solutions. That external negativity is real, but you don't have to let it poison your mind. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone throws a passive-aggressive comment your way. Your heart beats faster. Your mind starts spinning. But what if, instead of reacting, you just stayed quiet? What if you centered yourself, took a breath, and let their words pass like a wave crashing harmlessly against a rock? That kind of silence isn't weakness, it's power. It's the kind of strength that Stoicism teaches us to cultivate, the strength to master our emotions, instead of being mastered by them. But it's not just the negativity from others we must watch out for. Some of the worst lies are the ones we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'll never succeed. These thoughts are like invisible chains that hold us back from even trying. If we want progress, we have to face these thoughts and replace them with truth. Instead of saying, I'll fail, try this, I can learn, I can improve. Instead of thinking, I'm not good at this, say, I'm growing. And growth takes time. This simple shift in language creates a shift in mindset. And that shift, it's the beginning of freedom. In the last part, we discovered how rejecting distractions is a declaration of self-respect, a bold way of saying, my time matters. But there's another truth just as vital: if we want to protect our time, we must also protect our energy, starting with the habits we build and the people we allow into our lives. Just like lifting weights builds physical strength, building strong time management habits strengthens our mental discipline. And it doesn't have to begin with massive change. Start small. Commit just 15 minutes a day to an uninterrupted task, one that directly supports your goals. That could be writing, reading, exercising, studying, or planning. At first, it may feel insignificant, but day by day, those short sessions stack up, forming a powerful foundation of consistency and focus. Over time, this habit becomes like a muscle. Strong, automatic, unshakable. You'll notice that your ability to concentrate improves, your momentum builds, and your self-belief deepens. This seemingly minor habit starts spilling over into every area of life, helping you work better, think clearer, and live more purposefully. But your habits don't grow in isolation. They're deeply shaped by your environment, and especially by the people around you. Take a moment to think about your current circle. Are you surrounded by people who uplift you, who understand the value of time and support your growth? Or are there voices in your life that constantly pull you away from your path? The people you associate with have enormous influence over how you use your time. If you're constantly around individuals who waste their days, gossip, distract you, or drain your energy, it's going to be 10 times harder to stay committed to your own goals. That's why Stoic thinkers like Epictetus emphasized the importance of choosing your companions wisely. They can either propel you forward, or hold you back. Learning to say no to relationships that no longer serve your growth is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of clarity. It creates room for people who do support your dreams, who challenge you in healthy ways, and who share the same respect for time, discipline, and self-development. Equally important is dealing with negativity, whether it comes from outside or within. Because negativity is like a fog, it clouds your vision, drains your motivation, and subtly pulls you away from your purpose. And sometimes, it's not even loud or obvious. It can come in the form of persistent doubt, passive criticism, or environments that leave you emotionally exhausted. That's why identifying sources of negativity is essential. Is it a toxic friendship? A draining workplace? A cluttered, chaotic environment that saps your focus? Or is it your own self-talk, the thoughts that whisper you can't? Or why bother? When you begin setting boundaries, both mental and physical, you reclaim power over your space. And in doing so, you create room for clarity, creativity, and peace. This is the kind of mental environment where growth can finally take root. Yes, this can be uncomfortable. Saying no isn't easy. Setting boundaries with people you care about can feel like betrayal. But it's not about shutting others out, it's about protecting the most important project you'll ever work on, yourself. In some cases, this might require hard decisions. You might have to confront a colleague who consistently undermines your efforts. You may need to distance yourself from a friend who thrives on drama or negativity. And in certain situations, the healthiest choice might be to walk away entirely. When you make these choices, you're not just saving time, you're sending a message to yourself: I matter. My goals matter. My energy is valuable. Ultimately, honoring your time is one of the greatest acts of self-love. It's how you prove to yourself that your future is worth protecting. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, time is finite, precious, irreplaceable. How you use it speaks volumes about who you are, and who you're becoming. Mastering time management, then, isn't about hustling harder. It's about living smarter. It's about aligning your daily actions with your deeper purpose and choosing clarity over chaos. Principle number 4, the value of focusing on yourself. So now, let's ask the big question: what would your life look like if you focused entirely on yourself? This is not a call to selfishness. It's an invitation, a deep, Personal 1, to stop scattering your energy and start investing it where it truly matters, in your own growth, your own goals, and your own peace of mind. At the heart of all self-development lies one unshakable principle: clarity of purpose. And just like an athlete preparing for a major competition, personal progress requires daily effort, commitment, and training. No athlete wakes up ready to win. They build up to it, day after day, training session after training session. Imagine that your life is the same. Each goal you set is like a muscle. You strengthen it with every intentional action, every focused hour. And over time, you build endurance. You build confidence. You prepare yourself to handle bigger opportunities and greater challenges. Let's say your goal is to learn a new skill, maybe coding, public speaking, or design. At first, it feels overwhelming. You don't know where to start. But through consistent effort, 15 minutes a day, then 30, then more, you'll notice something remarkable. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable, then doable, then second nature. But progress isn't just about adding new things. It's also about clearing away the unnecessary. Just like you can't build a house on a cluttered lot, you can't build a strong future while holding on to distractions, toxic habits, or useless obligations. You have to create space. Consider the story of Jane, a full-time professional with a dream of advancing her career. She was ambitious, but her schedule was packed. Between work, social obligations, and digital distractions, she had no time for personal development. So she made a bold choice. She said no. No to endless social events. No to mindless web browsing. No to habits that weren't aligned with her goals. And in that space, she committed herself to learning. She pursued a certification course, and not long after, it helped her earn a well-deserved promotion. Jane's story is a powerful reminder: when you focus on yourself, when you eliminate the noise, transformation becomes possible. Of course, one of the keys to continued growth is keeping your mind in a constant state of curiosity and learning, but we'll save that for the next principle. After learning about the importance of focusing on yourself, setting clear priorities, and choosing progress over perfection, it's time to explore two powerful qualities that keep you moving forward: mindset and personal discipline. One of the most effective ways to expand your mindset is to maintain a habit of continuous learning. Imagine your brain as a lamp. If you don't constantly fuel it with new knowledge and perspectives, its light will gradually fade. Reading books, listening to podcasts, and discovering new ideas will not only broaden your horizons but also sharpen your ability to adapt to change. Think of a business leader who spends a little time each day reading about their industry or analyzing new trends. That consistent learning gives them a creative edge, helping them stay competitive and confident when facing uncertainty. But all this learning is meaningless without a solid backbone: discipline. Discipline is your internal compass. It's what keeps you moving forward, especially when motivation disappears. Imagine a student preparing for an important exam. There are days when they feel excited and ready, but also days when they're tired, bored, or discouraged. What keeps them going? Discipline, habits built over time that ensure progress, no matter how they feel. Discipline isn't a cage, it's freedom. It allows you to stay consistent even when you're not at your best. It says, I'll show up for myself today because it matters. Equally important is patience. Growth is never a straight path. Like a gardener planting a tree, you have to trust the process. Even when nothing seems to be changing on the surface, roots are growing underneath. You keep watering, tending, and waiting, believing in what you cannot yet see. Success doesn't only live in big milestones, it's built in the small, quiet steps you take every day. A marathon runner doesn't feel accomplished just from crossing the finish line. The real pride comes from every early morning run, every tough day they showed up anyway. When you fall in love with the process, you make space for deep fulfillment. But to grow fully, you must also fiercely protect your time. Time is your most precious currency, and unlike money, once it's gone for good. Imagine treating time like cash. Would you spend it carelessly on things that brought no value? Probably not. So why give away hours to distractions or obligations that don't serve you? You must intentionally link your actions to your values. If health matters to you, make time to exercise and eat well. If relationships are your priority, create space for focused, distraction-free time with loved ones. These choices reflect what truly matters to you, and ensure your growth aligns with your vision. One powerful habit to adopt is saying no. When someone asks you to do something that doesn't support your goals, politely decline. This simple word protects your time and energy. It reminds you that your mission matters. It strengthens your focus and your sense of self. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's how you create the protected space needed to thrive. Think of a freelancer who sets firm working hours. That line boosts their productivity and helps them balance personal life. Without boundaries, your time and focus will always be vulnerable to outside demands. To sum up, the value of focusing on yourself is priceless, but it demands intention, discipline, and courage. Guided by the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Remember that the journey of personal growth is about turning potential into reality. Now ask yourself, what boundaries have you set to protect your peace and your progress? Previously, we discussed how discipline and patience are essential to sustainable growth. Now let's face a universal truth: no path to success is free from failure. But here's the twist: when you look at failure through the lens of progress, it's no longer a setback, it's a stepping stone. In Stoic philosophy, failure isn't a source of shame. It's a catalyst for transformation. Marcus Aurelius taught us to focus on the core of our reality. When things go wrong, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? This mindset doesn't just protect your energy, it turns mistakes into fuel for progress. It helps you grow, adapt, and thrive. Having a progress-driven mindset also makes you more flexible. Life is unpredictable. Plans fall apart. Unexpected challenges arise. If you cling too tightly to control or perfection, you'll crumble under pressure. But when you focus on what truly matters, you can recalibrate. Take the example of a professional managing a detailed project. Suddenly, external changes throw everything off course. Instead of giving up, they return to the project's core, rethink the plan, and find creative solutions. The result? Often even better than expected. That flexibility, born from a commitment to progress, is priceless. Another vital trait of resilience is being open to feedback. Don't fear it. Don't run from it. Use it. Think of a writer sharing their first draft with a mentor. The feedback might be tough, pointing out flaws in structure or style. But instead of seeing it as personal failure, they use that feedback to revise and improve. Over time, their writing becomes stronger, more refined, more impactful. This openness is what fuels continuous growth. Progress also means accepting that you'll never be perfect, and that's okay. The fear of making mistakes is often what holds people back from creating anything meaningful. Marcus Aurelius said it beautifully: the obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When we shift our focus from perfection to progress, every mistake becomes an opportunity. Every setback becomes a lesson. And we stop being afraid to move forward. Building anything worthwhile, whether it's a skill, a relationship, or a career, takes time and patience. It's not about instant results. It's about the process. Think again of the gardener. They plant seeds, nurture them, and wait. There's no rush, no panic. They understand that growth is happening, even if it's not visible yet. That quiet confidence in the process creates peace, presence, and fulfillment. When you stop chasing an image of perfection and start embracing consistent, mindful effort, the entire journey becomes more meaningful. You experience joy in progress. You begin to define success not by some unreachable standard, but by how fully you're showing up each day. Over time, this approach builds real resilience. It gives you the ability to stay calm in chaos, focused in uncertainty, and committed even in difficulty. Because in the end, Stoic wisdom reminds us of one enduring truth: your strength lies within you. By focusing inward, by accepting imperfection, embracing feedback, and staying dedicated to small steps, you build a life rooted in meaning, adaptability, and peace. As we explored earlier, the journey of self-mastery begins with small, consistent actions, choices that reflect your values and lead you closer to a purposeful life. And now, it's time to understand how these small decisions define who you become. Every single day, you make countless choices. Most of them may seem minor: how you respond to an unexpected problem, how you speak to someone who frustrates you, how you choose to spend the next hour. But together, these small choices act like bricks, slowly building the structure of your life. Whether you're aware of it or not, your future is being shaped by these subtle moments. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." That quote is more than just a reflection, it's a reminder of your power. It affirms that you are in control. You may not decide what happens around you, but you absolutely decide how you respond and what meaning you assign to it. And when you choose to focus on your personal journey, on what truly matters to you, you're no longer just going through the motions. You're living with intention. You're living with purpose. Committing to your dreams isn't always loud or dramatic. Often, it's quiet. It's the decision to keep going when no one's watching. It's the internal voice that says, "My goals matter. My time matters. I will show up today." But to stay that course, you need a mindset rooted in core values, not public approval. You must stop chasing applause and instead chase alignment with yourself. Imagine a marathon runner. He's not there to win. He's not trying to impress the crowd or beat the runner beside him. With every step, he listens to the sound of his own breath, feels the rhythm of his own heartbeat. His eyes are focused forward, not sideways. He runs to overcome himself. And when he crosses the finish line, he's not just completed a race, he's proven something deeper: the meaning of commitment, of integrity, of quiet strength. To walk your own path, you must be willing to face resistance. Life will present you with judgment, failure, distractions, and moments of doubt. But every difficulty, every test, is also a lesson in strength, a chance to write your own story. Picture yourself climbing a towering mountain. The rocks are sharp, the path is narrow, your hands are scraped and your legs ache. But every step, no matter how slow or painful, brings you closer to the summit. You might fall, you might cry, but you keep moving, because the climb itself is building you. As Marcus Aurelius once affirmed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you begin to respect your personal path, something changes. You stop measuring your pace against others. You let go of the race. You realize that you alone decide the speed and direction of your journey. This doesn't mean you shut the world out. It means you stop letting the world steer you. Instead of chasing external validation, you start asking yourself deeper questions. Am I living in alignment with my values? Am I being true to the person I want to become? Because life, in the end, is a matter of priorities. And when your priorities are clear, you're no longer pulled by trends or overwhelmed by comparison. You become grounded, intentional. Let's take a moment to reflect on a simple, quiet story. A gardener dedicates his life to nurturing a single tree, while others gossip about his work or chase fast results. He tends to his garden in silence. He waters the soil, protects the roots, waits patiently. For years, no one notices. But one day, the tree blossoms, strong, tall, full of fruit. People begin to admire the beauty of his work. But for the gardener, The admiration doesn't matter. What mattered was the daily act of care. The love he gave. The quiet satisfaction of showing up every day. Even when no one was watching. Your journey is no different. There will be days when you feel lost, tired, or unsure. You may wonder, am I really on the right path? But every step counts. Every moment of effort is proof of your strength. And with patience, you will see that your choices are shaping something powerful. Patience isn't weakness. It's the deep, steady strength of someone who knows that growth takes time. So don't waste energy on what you can't control. Don't rush for shortcuts or approval. Trust that the right actions, made consistently, will lead to a fuller, more meaningful life. We've come a long way together in this video. We've explored what it truly means to focus on yourself and stop wasting time, one of the greatest lessons from Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy. Through this journey, I hope you've realized something essential, that self-control and staying centered on what matters most are not just tools for personal success, they are the keys to a deeply fulfilling life. So now it's your turn. What is the biggest thing that wastes your time? And what's one thing you will do today to change that? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Grow together. If this video spoke to you, leave a 1 in the comments. If you have suggestions on how we can improve, leave a 0. We're always listening, always evolving. Don't forget to like this video if you found value in it. Share it to help others discover the power of living intentionally. And hit subscribe so you never miss future videos on building inner strength, clarity, and peace. A new video will appear right here, at the bottom of your screen. When you're ready, click it, and continue your journey of becoming who you were always meant to be. See you in the next video. Keep going, stay focused, and never stop building the life you deserve.